Hello, this is the first update for the RPM challenge for this year, this first 4 days. I've created 3 tracks and pretty much they're not done, but they're not really going to change too much more. Maybe just some mixing or minor arrangement changes will happen. They're very sort of breakcore, breakbeat, drum and bass, these types of genres. And I know those genres are actually quite different to each other, and I won't claim to know a lot about these differences. If you know more about this genre, well, this range of genres than I do, which I'm sure there are a lot of people who do, please either let me know, at least how to describe the music in this video, and more importantly, if it's any good. I talk more about this at the end, but join the Discord down in the description. I'm not just trying to say that to get more members. I'm genuinely trying to actually do interesting events and stuff in the server, so it would actually be really cool if people could join. Anyway, cool. Here's a bunch of walkthroughs of the 3 tracks I made for 20 minutes or something. Enjoy. Alright, let's pretty much break down that breakbeat song. So here we have it. I'm using SoundBridge as my DAW, and pretty much we start off with just some breaks here. So that's the little loop I made. The breaks themselves come from these, which I got from some sample pack somewhere. And then I added these kicks. Let me see if... So they're from a hybrid drum design pack, which I believe is from Sample Science. So very cool sample pack. Here's the sort of kick pattern. So pretty much the kicks have a low pass filter, the breaks have a high pass filter, which carves out a little bit of space in the middle for melodic elements. Where in terms of the frequency, it doesn't exactly sit in the right spot, but it still adds a good bit of dynamics that allows me to sort of build up intensity more later by reducing the low pass filter here, so opening up a bit more. Here we bring in sort of some more elements. So we have this bass pad, which is really just a slow moving bass line, as well as this lead. And you'll notice a little bit of panning there. No, you won't. I took it out. That's it, purely just, they're both sampled, so that's purely just the nature of the samples. I did have them intentionally panned around previously. Anyway, then the bass line moves up an octave and the lead is taken out. There's also that little rising part which fits perfectly in between the gaps of the main lead sound, which is sort of why I created the parts in that way. Then we have this little breakdown with just kicks, and then it builds up in this bar before dropping into the full sort of version of the loop. So pretty much the big kicks here, the distorted ones, are on 2 separate channels. I didn't create a new separate one, just seemed like a waste of channels. So on the breaks one, it's a little bit high pass filtered. On this pad channel, it's panned left, but the frequencies are unaffected. In total, with the two channels combined, it sounds very sort of like the full sound. And then we come in with this pad and this vocal chop, which is also behaving kind of like a pad. They're both panned left and right here. So just listen to the sort of overall pad sound in total. So the pad here is being looped at weird moments here and then cut off before going into the next loop after 8 bars. Vocal chop, it starts at F, is the original sample key. It goes up to a C and then down to a C and then up, down. So it goes between 2 different octaves throughout the 8 repeats, which is like 16 bars for this last little ending section. And then, so that's sort of some extra pad elements in the background. And then we have pretty much the final sort of fully built up loop of the track, which I'll just play now. And that's about it for this one. So let's kind of just move on to creating a second track. It is now later the same night and I have another track that I've, well, again, started but not finished, but I'll just, we'll just have a listen here. So it's kind of more of a drum and bass thing, still using breaks, but not really chopping them up. I added a full sort of sequenced drum beat over top of it here, and then quite a few instruments. We have a brass sample, a clarinet and cello from the BBC Symphony Orchestra, acid bass, and also just this snare, which is kind of, I've reversed it and then hit it, which is kind of like a riser and then impact. So yeah, we'll just take a listen. So that is the sort of drum and bass track here. It starts off with this brass sound, and this is done in Vital. It's just this sample, which would be, it's a brass pad. I just use Vital to hold samples. I don't know, that's just the way I've always done it, I suppose. And then this break, and as well as the break switches up in this section where the drums sort of cut back a little bit. Both of these breaks are from this just break loop pack that I recently downloaded. Yeah, that's about it for this track. I'll probably make like one more track just because they're all the same sort of genre, or they all come from, drum breaks, and then put them all together in the first update video. Yeah, I'll pretty much get to work on third track in the same sort of style now. I might find some more breaks to use though, but yeah, see you then. So it's day 4. Throughout last night and a little bit this morning, I've been working on this third track. It's not exactly breakbeat or any of the other variety of genres that I don't really know what they are, but it uses breaks, so that's something. We'll just take a listen and I'll explain it afterwards. I definitely have quite a few changes that I want to make just from listening to it again. So I pretty much got up and listened to it and changed a few things, but there's still quite a few more things to do. But let's just take a quick sort of walk through. So we start off with these breaks. These came from Ben Wilson here on YouTube, and I cut it up. I created a loop called verse, which is sort of less intense, and then another one called chorus, which is just because it has more of the crash symbol in it, although I cut it up really weirdly, and I think I'm going to change the way I cut it up because this crash here kind of cuts itself off and it sounds really weird. Anyway, then I also made this bridge one, which I wanted to include this I think it's here, that ride cymbal bell hit, and I thought maybe it would make sense to include that in a different section. I have this thing, it's a like Basimilus altar, whatever it's called, that Eurorack module. Someone made a sample pack of it and included a couple of melodic loops, so this is one of them. So I just tempo and key matched it to the project and threw it in here and there, and then I slowed it down to half speed for this little 2-bar breakdown before the chorus. And then this clap is just it's hybrid drum design by Sample Science, I believe, is the pack that it came from, and it's just a clap that I added in to sort of add some extra layers on top of the break. And then finally, well, not finally, but we have this vital instance on track 4 playing this. So it's kind of like a bass, well, I use it as a bass, but it's kind of swelling and it has a little bit of white noise in here opening up on this envelope, so that the filter opens up, so it's a nice synth patch. And then finally we have this little ambience loop thing from, I don't even know where I got this from, but here we go. I have to go to work now, but I'll come back later and fix up these drum breaks a little bit, fix up like sort of maybe kind of figure out how I want to use this bridge section a little bit more, and yeah, possibly reconfigure the drums here as well, but we'll see what we do. I have made a couple of changes to this the track. I'll kind of just show you kind of what's changed and then we'll have a listen. So firstly, as you can see, well, you probably can't really see, but I pretty much got rid of the chopped up breaks and just replaced them with the raw breaks of the same section, just looping every 4 bars. I also did just a little bit of mixing. To be honest, I'm not exactly the most skilled when it comes to mixing. I don't know really a lot about it. I used the bridge section here. I created a little bass and then lead melody in just the same instrument that I had before. And then pretty much from there, there's a tiny little pause and it comes in with the clap, goes back into another chorus, and then it has this breakdown at the end, which despite being very simple, just changing the octaves on this ambient loop, I really like it. And then it builds up a little bit with this and then it just fades out at the end. But I really quite like the ending. It goes for like 2 minutes, so it's quite a decent length song. It's on the shorter end of typical, songs to be released, but in terms of the other tracks I made for this challenge so far, I think it's the longest. So, and I'll admit, when I first made it, like when I very first made it, I was kind of like, well, I'll just see what I can do with these breaks, and then I couldn't really come up with anything I liked. But I've actually kind of grown to quite like, what I came up with here and just the way I've expanded on it. So we'll just take a listen to not really the final version, but it's probably going to stay quite similar to this throughout the rest of the month. So yeah, we'll take a listen. So that's pretty much the final version of this track. I don't love, I really like the structure of the ending, but the fade out itself, I quite like the fade out of the drums. It kind of just sounds like a closing hi-hat, which I quite like, but I want to figure out a better way to do the fade out of the actual ambient loop and make it, maybe using a filter or something to kind of make it fade out a bit more naturally. I'm not sure, we can work on that, but for now, that's pretty much 3 tracks done to a certain degree. If you want to sort of hear them in their full form, join the Discord server. As much as I'm just saying that to get people to join, it is also true that's where I'm going to be posting WAV files of the final versions without my voice over them. But also genuinely, I am trying to sort of get more people to join. I am actually, it's been very dormant for a while, but I'm actually trying to get things going. This month of February, it's the 4th, so pretty much tonight I'm going to just quickly throw together a loop. Well, that makes it sound like I'm not going to... I'm going to put together a loop that's hopefully quite decent, and start up the monthly sample challenge again. It's something I've been doing we did it for a couple of months last year, and then I kind of, at the same time that I took my little time off, I kind of stopped doing the challenge, but hoping to start again. So if you want to get involved, come and get involved. There are a couple of other people in the server who I'm sure will do the challenge again, as well as myself. So it'll be awesome to get some more people involved, as well as other things that are going on, aiming to just create a sort of creative space. I don't know, whatever. It's cool. The album will be out sometime before the 1st of March. Bye.